chaps and chapheads, and welcome to my blog for March. This is the video blog. I also do a written blog on Board Game Geek. I'll put a link below for you to go to. So if you don't like listening to my voice and you like reading, you can go and read about everything that I'm going to talk about there. And if you don't like reading but you want to listen because it's easier and look at stuff, then that's what this video is for. It's a complimentary video. So why do I do this? It's because I want to help people find games that are worth their money and going to get played over and over again. That's why in this video you'll probably find games that I've talked about many times. I may miss out details because I've spoken about them in the past, but if you go through my blogs you can find them and read some more about it. And again, there's a lot of videos that I have done for some of these older games which you can go check out as well. And it's quite interesting to see how my view of these games has changed. Or has it changed? Has the game got better? Has it got worse? Or is it still the same? It's still a good game. Great. It's great. Yeah. And also, I'm going to point out some things, some first impressions from games that I've played for the very first time as well. So again, take this as advice. Don't take it direct, okay? Because I don't believe that a person can play a game once and then say that that's it. And then, yeah, there's nothing worse than that. Just take his advice. Go and watch about up to 5 other reviews on a game that I talk about with other reviewers, and let that paint a picture for you whether it's a game for you or not. Because, you know, no one is God in this world. So without further ado, let's just quickly thank my sponsor. That's why I put it on the background. Game Toppers. Game Toppers is a system where you can get any table and whack these well constructed slabs on top and then put a mat on it and add any accessories that you want, like cup holders or dice trays and bits and pieces, and then just elevate your gaming experience at the table. Myself is sat on top of 3 Calyxes, small 2x2 ones, so I can store my games underneath, and it creates a sturdy base for my gaming, and so we can put our arms on it. It's comfortable, it's great. But enough of that. I would love to say thank you to Board Game Geek as well, but they're not a sponsor. But I'm going to say thank you to them anyway, because without them, this would all fall apart. Let's talk about the first game. And just for you, so you can see, this is my blog on Board Game Geek. And this is the one which is going to be coming out with this video. And as you can see, these are the games that I'm going to be talking about. And I like to ask people which of these games they're interested in, and that's why they're watching this video. And also find out if they're people that love these games and would highly recommend them to others, to see that I'm not kind of like alone or I'm missing something. If like hundreds of people would say that they like Takenoko but I don't like it, what am I missing? But anyway, yeah, so there's a big old written blog here with a few videos as well to help people out. But anyway, let's talk about the first game. And the first game is Tower Up, which I've played 4 times, Zombicide, which I've played 4 times, and all these other games I've played and managed to get to the table just once over the course of the month. But yeah, let's talk about Tower Up, which is a relatively new game. I've played it 6 times, as you can see here, and it's an abstract game where players are building towers and scoring points when they do so. Very simply, on your turn, you're going to be either collecting some more tower blocks by choosing one of the cards, as you can see in the picture above there. You can take a card which has a grey, black and white tower block and then add them to your pool of resources. Or on your turn, you can build. And to build, you need to place a block of a colour next to an existing block or tower on the board. Thing is, that colour has to be different from the ones which it's going to connect to. And therefore, you're going to need to contribute. So, for instance, you see there's like those 2 black cubes there. If I was to place another cube next to one of them, I would probably place a white one, or a brown one, or a grey one. I could not place a black. But then, I'd have to contribute a black to each of those other 2 towers, towering them up. But after I've done that, I can then add a roof onto any of those buildings that I built myself or contributed to. So the game, as the board builds up, becomes a bit more hectic to look at and a bit more difficult to, strategize. But that's where the fun of the game is. It's this puzzling and working out, if I go here and do that, and then that give me that amount of points. If I go there and do that, that would give me that objective. If I go there and do that, I'll move these lorries and I'll get an extra turn. So you've got all of these different things that you're thinking about on your turn just by placing one block. So the rules, elegant and simple. The look of the game is elegant and simple, but it is this kind of like Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne, Splendor, where it's like, yeah, it's easy, but then there's this learning curve of where to go and then planning out how you're going to play the game. Are you going to aim for those objectives? Are you just going to aim for getting your vehicles across the board by always putting your roof on a top tower? Or are you going to strategically wait for a tower that's going to be not being able to get access to, and then place your roof on top because it's going to give you lots of points at the end of the game scoring? There is so many different ways of getting points in this very, very simple game. And as I said, it's a kind of like a slight battle for resources as cards get taken, but also at the same time, it's a battle of space and where you're going to go and what's the optimum placement for your cube, so to speak, and the optimum placement for your roof, because they're two different things. You might need to get the objective, which might be just having 4 roofs on 4 brown colored buildings, or the objective might be you must have a roof at different levels, because as you can see from this picture, you can put your roof on top of a tower, but then someone else could build next to it and then put another block on top of your roof and then place their roof on top. But it's not, it's that kind of real strain on the brain, which is like, should I go here? Should I go there? And I admire the game for its easy way of recounting things. So if your score or your lorries get knocked or whatever, you can easily just look at the board, much like in Ticket to Ride, and then just go, okay, I've got a roof there. That would explain why I've got 2 points there. I've got a roof there and there. That explains why I got 7 points there. That's another great asset of the game. This game is, I can't praise this game enough. I love this game. I want it to hit the table a lot more because it's a great game. Simple. It plays under an hour. The only thing I would say is there's a waste of space on the back of the board, because you have this front side of the board, which is a 3 to 4 player map, and then on the back there's a 2 player map, which takes up half the board, and then you have this wasted space. And I can't find a picture of the back of the map. But yeah, they could have put 2 islands for 2 players, so that they can play on this board or play on that board, and then that could have doubled up as a 4 player map as well, where you have 2 islands to play with, and then you've got that kind of like segregation of routes between buildings, which could have made it a lot more interesting. So the 2-player game is quite fun. I played this a lot with, well, I played 4 games with my 7-year-old, who picked it up very easily, and we enjoyed just going at it, and he was very engaged with achieving the objectives before me, and very disappointed when I took that 7 points away from him because I did the objective before him. But at the same time, there are swings and roundabouts to this game. You could win this way, you can win that way, and you can win the other way. But there's always something you can do as long as you're forward planning. And that is a fantastic game. I can't recommend this game enough. It's 10 out of 10 for me. Oh, it's one of those as well, a cup of tea. Zombicide is another game that I've played 4 times this month. Again, with my 7-year-old. This is his go-to game. This is like our Sunday game. He will get this out. He will choose a scenario. We will choose 6 characters, and then cooperatively we will achieve the objectives and get to the end and try and kill as many zombies as possible. Well, not try and kill as many zombies as possible, because that can be a bad thing. So yeah, this game I've recently done a video on. So if you want to hear more, go and click on that. The link's down below in the notes. But yeah, this game is a cooperative game where you have an objective, you've got to achieve it, but you've got zombies coming at you left, right, and center. There are bucket loads of characters that were given to me, which make the game kind of infinitely replayable because they each have slightly different powers or combinations of the same powers and different things. And yeah, this game, this is the first edition. This is not second edition. This is not any other edition. This is the base Zombicide first edition game, which just I have bucket loads of, which was given to me by a friend. The great things about it is the cooperativeness, which make it an easy play. There's no losers. Well, there could be losers if your character gets killed off. But if you're playing with just a couple of players and lots of characters, you've got a better chance of surviving than you are when you're just a couple of characters in the world of Zombicide. The thing that's interesting about the game and nice is the puzzle aspect of the game, because you have X amount of actions, the zombies have X amount of actions. On the player's turn, they are calculating between themselves how to get through the board and how to overcome certain obstacles on the game. And at the same time, you're calculating, well, if I do this, this zombie's going to move there, and so that space is quite dangerous because they will bite me. Especially with the runners, which move 2 spaces. They have 2 actions. They can move, or they can move, eat, or eat, which would kill your character. Yeah, that's the fun aspect of the game, is when these zombies get spawned onto the board, it's like calculating where's the best way to go. We need to do that, but there's this situation here. On top of that, balancing your characters, because as soon as a character hits a certain XP level, the zombie spawning cards get harder, so more zombies will come on, tougher zombies will come on. Having a whole group of runners run at you can be quite daunting, especially when they spawn in the space right next to you. That's that's very scary. You can't run away. This blocked here, and if you run, you're gonna get, you're gonna have to waste your actions to do shooting and then get jumped upon. But that's the fun part of the game, is the puzzling out together with my 7-year-old. How we're going to get around this? What's the best idea? The dice luck is kind of good, because as you level up and search for stuff, it makes the game easier for you to get through. I wouldn't say this game is easy. It was easy, and now we have introduced all the different types of zombies from all of the first edition. So we have the toxic zombies, the skinners, the seekers, the brown ones, which only can be killed by melee attacks and not ranged attacks. So that spiced it up and made it very interesting, because it was getting a bit formulaic with just the same zombies. So we still had fun, but now we're playing with all the different types of zombies. It's a bit more brain burnering. Especially when the Seeker zombies come onto the board, and then there's several Seeker cards that come out and they get like an extra action. And if they're runners, you're screwed. But yeah, we have a great laugh in this game. As I say, this game I would love to introduce to my English non-board gaming friends over a beer, because that's where I think this would leave a very good impression on them of what a good board game can do, and what a good board game it can look like as well. But yeah, Zombicide first edition, love this game. Every Sunday is Zombicide Day. National Zombicide Day, Shenu, at our house. So Zombicide is under control. I thought I'd introduce Batman Gotham City Chronicles to Robin, the 7-year-old. Yes, he's named Robin, for reasons, lots of reasons, not just Batman, but lots of other reasons. But yeah, this game I love, and I want to play it and play with all the different characters eventually and different scenarios. And so I thought, well, no one's going to play with me. Let's try it with Robin. He got the rules because it has this slight different action point system where it's energy, and you can use as many action point energy points as you want on your turn, but next turn you won't have as many. So kind of like mitigating and managing your energy from turn to turn with your heroes and the villain also is quite important. This is a fantastic mechanic which I love about the game, which make it really interesting for me as a player. On top of that, the dice rolling, which everyone loves dice rolling. So it's kind of Euro, but at the same time it's kind of Ameritrash. because you are rolling dice. But as long as you are using the right dice on the right action, because each character has a different dice color for their actions. So someone might be good at punching, so they get the powerful red dice, but they're not good at shooting, so they get the weak yellow dice. One of the things that Robin struggled with was that he was punching enemies with his weak punching guy, and then shooting enemies with his weak shooting guy. And it's like, no, that's why you're missing. That's why he's still alive. So yeah, there's that learning curve that he had to do. The game does have a kind of large learning curve due to the fact that there are so many characters, so many different special abilities. But the thing is, that's the thing about the game. You can play a scenario and then play it again, and then play it again with the same characters, the same setup, and you will get a different feel each time, a different result each time. Things will go differently, mainly because of the dice, but also with the fact that the players will play slightly differently. So with this amount of stuff in the game, setup and takedown are the nightmare of this game. Zombicide, we kind of got knitted down because everything is contained in a way that I made it easy for us to get out. This is a little bit more harder. And then, as I said, you have that kind of like, okay, right, now I've got this character, these are my powers. Okay, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then that takes a while. But that's the only kind of noggins I have with the game. It's the setup and the too much of everything. But once you know what you're doing, you know the characters, you know the scenario, you know what you're going to do, you know you're going to play, the game just really shines really well as a system and as a game. And of course it's Batman. And I'm a sucker for Batman. The game doesn't really outlive its welcome because they're all done on rounds. You have X amount of rounds to play, and if it's at the end you find out who's won by is the objective complete or is it failed. And it's as simple as that. And it does make me want to go back and play. I want to play now. I like this game. It's kind of like the Heroescape, but on a board game setting. It just feels the same, that kind of combat. And again, the odds against the heroes is always a great thing as well. So you kind of like that Hero Quest, where it's just 4 heroes and then a bucket load of orcs, goblins and stuff. This is the same kind of thing, and it feels great when you clear up a bit and you manage to do this and manage to do that. Yeah, and you don't get that kind of sensation in a lot of games. Sometimes it's like, well, you just do the objective and leave all them over there, and it's like, I did the objective, but I don't feel like I was Batman. In this game, you do feel like you're Batman. How to wrap this up? I don't think this is a good job. It's a good game for 7-year-olds. It was a little bit on the heavy side for him. He kind of enjoyed it, but it was like, in the way that we packed up, I kind of knew that he didn't want to play again. And probably won't play for another 3 or 4 years. And then, hopefully, I'll get to play this game again. Dixit is an oldie and a classic game. I haven't played this in a party style for a while, but I have been playing it to teach English. So I've used this as a teaching tool more than a game. But we played the game at the same time because it's about communication. In Dixit, there are these surreal cards with art. Well, surreal art cards. Cards with art, that's surreal. How do you say that? But anywho, yeah. So you have these cards, and on your turn, you're going to create a story on one of those cards. And what you want is at least one player at the table to guess which picture is yours. Okay, and everyone's going to be adding a card to your card, what they think your story is about. And so these are going to get mixed up. And then the other players are going to guess which one is your card. And the other players are also going to be hoping that they picked a good card, which people think is your card, but it's actually their card, so they're going to get points. So it's like this kind of psychological kind of, what do you know, what don't you know? Do you think like me? Do you not think like me? Is this registering? So yeah, I used it to create little stories, maybe 2-word sentences, 5-word sentences, where they got to explain their story, and also afterwards why did they choose that card and what the relationship was with the story, which got them to talk English, which works for me. As a game, the mechanisms are really good. They're solid still to this day. I still enjoy playing this game. Obviously, it shines better at its full count, which is 6, because there's a lot more interaction and there's a lot more cards to choose from when you're guessing the other players. And it's interesting to see who does think like you and why they chose that card. And sometimes they don't think like you, but they chose your card anyway. And it's like, well, why? And it's like, oh, I didn't see that relationship. Was it something subconscious that I was thinking? Or was it something else? Or just, I didn't think about that at all. This is a wonderful kind of relaxed party style game, which will possibly induce some giggles. And there's many iterations of this game, and many spin-offs, different cards and slightly different rules. There's a 12-player Odyssey version, which I've been meaning to get, but I haven't still got. But hey ho, Dixit, a really nice kind of experimental psychological game. This was a new game introduced to me by my friend Guillaume. We played 5 players. It's called Fauna. And in Fauna, it's like a animal quiz game where you are betting on what you know or think you know about a mysterious creature. In the game, you have a handful of cubes, which are your betting chips, so to speak. And what happened is a card would be revealed with an image of an animal and its Latin name and its English name, but as you can see, this is not English. And you only see like the top half of the card, so you don't see all the information about where they live, what their size is, what their lifespan is, what their weight is. And you basically, on your turn, will bet a chip and place it in a region on the map or on a space on these kind of rulers of size, weight, and life. So you can either bet or pass. If you pass, that's the end. You're out for the while. And if you bet, you will whittle your hand down to probably nothing. And when you've got none left, you can't bet, or you can just stop whenever you want. At the end, when everyone has stopped, that's when you reveal the answers. And those that are correct are going to get points. And they're also going to receive cubes back that they've previously lost. If you are wrong, you're going to lose those cubes. And it's a kind of very simple game, which unfortunately people that don't have the knowledge will feel defeatists, and they will just go, okay, right, no, yeah, this is not a game for me. So I mean, if you're not interested in animals or not interested in gambling or betting or just guessing, this game is not going to appeal to you. But there's the fun part of that as well, where if you know somebody doesn't know nothing about animals or a particular type of animal, you can just like place a cube randomly in the middle of nowhere and then see how many other people copy you because they think you know. Yeah, I found it good because I do have like the David Attenborough in me, lots of documentaries, and saw lots of strange and wonderful things in our world. So yeah, this game appealed to me personally. It didn't appeal to my wife and my daughter as they don't have the same kind of knowledge. But yeah, we had a good time still. It was kind of a party game in a way where you're just betting. But it is based on fact. So it's not imaginary or anything like that. So yeah, it really worked for me. I don't think it's a game that I will get, but it's a game that I don't mind playing, if you understand what I mean. But yeah, that is Fauna. So this is Final Touch, which is a game that I've had quite a while, and it passed hands. I gave it to my daughter because she's a big art fan and she loved the artwork, and she had to clear out recently as she grows up. You know, stuff goes in her room and other stuff goes out. So you know, the typical kind of Barbies go in, Barbies go out, and then the boy band posters come in kind of thing. But anywho, Final Touch is a kind of push your luck game, card game, where you are artists and you are painting a forgery together and you're all contributing to the art. Each image has, let's show you some. Each image has the colors needed to finish it, and so you will have a handful of cards of colors and you will play some on your turn if you wish to contribute to the painting, or you could sabotage the painting by adding a color which it already has enough of, or a color which it doesn't need at all. The minute that 3 of these sabotaged colors added to a painting, that player who sabotaged it the last gets to keep that painting, and it's worth a lower point value than it would be if it was to be finished. Whereas if you are the player that played the final color or colors to finish the painting, you get the big high score, and then you draw your hand up again and play goes. I used to kind of like this game, and after playing it again, I've decided this is one of those rare occasions where it's like, okay, now I have to declutter my room and remove all my boy posters and replace them with Transformers. Boy posters? Boy band. Did I say boy band or boys? Woo. But anywho. Yeah, so this is a game that I've decided, no, this doesn't work. We played 3 players and everything just fell out of your control. It didn't matter what you did. It was either the luck of the draw that you had good cards and you could finish a painting, or it was luck of the chance that the player before you couldn't finish the painting or added colors and you had the missing color, which was perfect. So there were times when like one player would finish a painting after painting every round due to the fact that they managed to have the right cards at the right time. And even with the pre-planning, because there's pre-planning, you can see the painting which will be done next, so you can save those colors for like when that painting has been done. Yeah, it just seemed to fall apart. I had a bad time, my son had a bad time, and my wife was like, yeah, meh. But it's a shame. It's a nice looking game, it's a nice idea. I'm normally into Mike Elliott games, and this is a Mike Elliott design, but it just didn't work. It didn't feel right. It just felt like chaos. I don't like games with too much chaos. I don't like games with some chaos that's manageable in a way, but no, this didn't work at all. So Final Touch is having its final farewell in my collection. So yeah, if you're into that, then cool. If you just want to keep the game to have the nice art, cool. But nah, didn't work. Yeah, so it's dropped from a 7 rating to a bye-bye. Fishing, I talked about this in my last month's vlog, is a trick-taking game, and we played this 4 players, and we played it once, and it was quite enjoyable. It was, I don't know where I was when I was thinking when playing this game. So yeah, it's a trick-taking game. Everyone starts with X amount of cards, and then everyone plays a card and follows suit, and the highest card wins. But the thing is, when your cards are won, they go to your deck. You create a deck. These are like the fish that you've caught, and then you put them on your boat. And then the next round, you have X amount of cards, Y amount of cards, Z amount of cards as the rounds go on. And so you'll be drawing from your deck to make your hand size. If you don't have any cards in your deck, you draw from another main deck, which has slightly more powerful cards. So the cards are numbered 1 to 10, but then the top of this pile, there's 11s and there's 0s. And so the 11s are more powerful than a 10, obviously, so they would win. And the 0s are, they let you, after the trick has been played, if you've played a 0, you can take any card from that trick and add it to your net. And that's the game. And you play it for 8 rounds. As I said, the cards get more and more powerful, so the numbers go up, and then there's other powers that are introduced, like you can choose the suit, or you can reverse the trick, so it's the lowest card that wins. So yeah, it's a quite an enjoyable experience. Again, there's the chaos aspect of it. It does feel out of your control. Normally with a trick-taking game, sometimes you can win several hands in a row because you have some kind of good cards and some kind of bad cards, but you play them at the right moment to win. In this, there's not that at all. You may lose a round and then you win a round, then you lose a round and win a round, then lose a round and win a round. The thing is, you filter your deck, and I mean, I think when I was playing that kind of strategy of like, well, there's no point me winning this. I'm just going to lose it all, and so I have 2 cards in my deck. So my next hand, I draw up to 10 cards. 2 which I've already got, and then lots of new super cool cards. And that felt nice. And then you'd win that round, obviously, because you had the most powerful cards in the game. But yeah, that's a slight smidgen of the problem. It just that kind of chaos, and all of a sudden you are superior, and then all of a sudden you are weak as plums. And the other feeling was, you know, oh, I'm going to win this trick because I've got the highest number, and then someone would play a 0 and steal your cool card. Would really get you. But yeah, it's still enjoyable. We played 4 players. It went pretty quickly. Scoring was quite easy. And everyone had fun and wanted to play again. Unfortunately, we didn't. But it's one of those kind of feel good, chaotic, but not chaotic for too long kind of card games. And if you like trick taking games, this is a no-brainer. I like the deck building aspect. I don't know. Maybe it just needed a bit more tweaking and to make it feel like what you're playing is strategically good, instead of just like you could play any old card and that will do. I should have showed some photos. It's not a bad looking game. It's quite clear in the artwork, and you have a reference card for all the powers. So even if you don't teach all the powers, you place a reference card out and players can just play from that and maybe ask questions, and then you know they've got that card. Small, compact, take it anywhere you want. I think this is a holiday game for me. Bon, Halli Galli. This is a party style game for 4 players. Very kiddie. My son got it up. Well, he got it out and we started playing it. It's very simple. Everyone's given some cards, and these cards have fruit on them. And on your turn, you just place a card in front of you, and you scan quickly all the cards in front of all the players. And if you see 5 of the same fruit, you tap this bell on the desk. It's just fun, carnage, fast, kind of like, you know, war, where you just draw a card and go, all right, and 5's higher than 3, I win. But in this case, you are trying to find 5 identical fruits spread out through all the cards visible. And the first one to do so will claim those piles with those fruit on it and add it to their deck, and so will stay in the game. Played it 3 players. This is just a fun party stupid game which you can pass 5 minutes at and have a good laugh. I recommend it if you like those kind of things, or you want a filler for a night. You just want to have some fun. Yeah, it's cool. It's got a nice cool bell in it. The artwork is nice and simple. It plays very, very quickly, and if you've got kids, they will have fun. It gives them a chance to try and beat you as well. As you get older, your reflexes get slower. But yeah, Halli Galli. I won't talk too much about it because it is very simple, like another game later on. This is not the game that I'm talking about, the simpler one. This is simple still, and this is an amazing game. This is In the Footsteps of Darwin, which is a very simple kind of tile drafting game, where you'll draft a tile from a selection of tiles and add it to your player board, and then after 12 tiles are drafted, you count a score. Very simplistic in its design and its approach, but there's that little thinky thing inside your head which goes off, because you'll have that boat in a position either orthogonally or horizontally in a row, and you've got 3 tiles to choose from, and it's like, which tile do I choose to add to my collection of animals? There are 4 different types of animals, there are 4 different areas of the world, and so you're creating a 4x4 grid and trying to place as many tiles out. Well, you're going to be placing 12 tiles. It's not as many, but you're going to be placing tiles, and you're going to need to make sure that they earn you points. Some of them have points marked on them, which will score you at the end of the game if they are visible. Some of them will give you compass roses. Some of them will give you maps which need to be visible at the end of the game because they multiply depending on how many compass roses you picked up. There are tiles which will give you another helper. A helper is used to move the boat back and forth or to change the tiles on display. Simple things like that. And that's all you're doing. And you're deciding what animal you want, what's going to benefit you the most. And there are many different things that you can do and many different ways to play, because there are benefits to taking animals that you don't really need because they're not going to score you extra points at the end of the game, because you're going to collect these little bonus tiles which will say, oh, you get a point for every insect you have, or you're going to get a point for every American animal that you have. And so you'll collect these, and to collect more, to do so, you're going to have to pick out a tile and have exactly the same as the one you already have. So you place a red African mammal on top of a red African mammal, and that will allow you to take an extra bonus scoring thing. That may screw up your plan, or that might be the only plan available to you. But that's the decision you will have to make. There might be a decision where you have to make to take an animal that you don't really need because you're not going to score for it, but it will complete a line either of 4 tiles orthogonally, or horizontal or vertical. And when you do so, that allows you just to score a bonus extra 5 points. Is it worth it to do that, or is it best to just get the animals that I need, or to fill up the objectives that I want? And so there's this push and pull of what tiles you're going to take from the allocated 3 in the column. And as I said, you have a helper which will allow you to move the boat either 1 back or 1 forward, so you can change the row if you wish. And it's as simple as that, but it is just so addictable and so enjoyable. The game components are stellar. These are some of the best components you will find in a game for this price, of this kind of weight in board gaming. The boards are double-sided, and you got a nice artwork, so it looks like a menu when you set up the game. The main board is double-sided as well, so there's a map on the other side so you can look at it. There's a book inside there which explains the life and history of Darwin, and then there's the insert itself, which has little markings on it telling you how many tiles you're going to need for how many players and how to set up. So you don't really need the rule book after a while, and that's the great thing about this game. You get it out, you read the rule book, you start playing it, you don't need the rule book. This is a great lightweight entry game for anyone who's not a gamer, to get them baited like a fish in fishing, to put in the net, and then you put them in the deck, and then you shuffle, and then you do. But anywho, yeah, this is a lovely game. I'm very much looking to the expansion coming forward. We played 3 players, my son, my wife, and I. And it was a challenge. He did pretty well. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's after. There are nuances of the strategy that he hasn't picked up yet, like I should take that animal just so I can get an extra scoring mechanism, or I get an extra 5 points for getting a complete line. But apart from that, he had a good time, we had a good time, and yeah, it's very rare that you can get the wife to play anymore. So this is a great game for her. Not that she doesn't struggle with hard games, but yeah, she enjoys this. So yeah, Darwin, In the Footsteps of Darwin, a fantastic game. I should really give my rate a bit higher than an 8. Pluckin Pairs, I've talked about this game a lot. I've also done a review about it, so you can go and check that out, links below. Or Keep Again. It's a very simple party game, great with 8 players. As you are pairing up 11 images, there'll be one odd, obviously, because there's 11 images, and then revealing what your pairs are, and then seeing who else has the same pairs as you, and you score points for how many people have the same pair as you, which makes you feel great. And then when you got nobody put that pair together, you feel bad because you look like an idiot. It's a very simple concept, and it works really well in a party setting. It also works well as a teaching tool, and that's when I played this game again, teaching some English, explaining what the objects are, and so they knew what it was in English, and then they explained their pairs once they paired them up. And we have a laugh that way. It's like, oh, I didn't see that. Or it's like, why did you pair the lawnmower with the staples? Not staples, the paper clips? Yeah, because you can pair there quite easily the lawnmower and the pepper, because they're red, or the tent in the pepper, and because they're red, or the lawnmower and the tent because they're both outdoor things. But then what are you going to pair the windmill with? But that's the thing of the game. It's like you have X amount of time to pair these images together as best you can, and hope that everyone thinks the same as you. Well, not everyone thinks the same as you, because if everyone thought the same as you, you're going to score the same. But at least most people see the world the same way as you do. This is a really fun game, Pluckin Pairs. Everyone should have a Pluckin Pairs. I've only had a burger and chips for dinner, and that's it. My mind is screwed. Coffee time. Yeah, here's the other quick game. Quick Cups, or Crazy Cups as it's called here. Where it's kind of the same thing as Halli Galli. It's the fastest to do it that taps the bell that wins. Not a lot of great images I could find, but yeah, basically a card is revealed. Players will have 5 different coloured cups in front of them, and then you have to arrange those cups in the same order as the image. It might be a tower like you see in this picture, so yellow would have to go on the top, and the fastest to do it, boom, clicks the bell. It might be a picture of socks on a washing line, which means that you lay the cups out next to each other in that order. First one, bing, dings the bell. You win the card, it's a point. It's a laugh. It's a quick playing game. It's fun. Probably best just to let the kids do it because, again, it depends on your reflex speed and if you want to be generous to your kids. But yeah, this is a fun little party style game. Unfortunately, only 4 players. It would be great if you had a bigger version for 4 parties, cocktail parties, beer parties, whatever, coffee parties maybe. No. But yeah, a party. This would go down really well. Nice big card in the middle, and then everyone's boom, 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 after several shots. There, yeah, this is a great game. I like it. That's why it's still in my collection. It's not something that I want to jump to every time, like Halli Galli, but in those moments, holidays maybe, yeah, it's a good fun game. Getting to the end, a family favourite again is Takenoko. I taught this to my daughter years ago. She loved it. My wife plays it. She loves it. I should technically lift the level of that from good, usually willing to play. I think, no, good, usually willing to play is about right, I think, for Takenoko. It's a lovely production. I played this, again, just with my son, the 7-year-old, and yeah, we passed a good half an hour, 40 minutes playing. Takenoko is an unusual game which players may not be used to due to the fact that you're all together building a world and you're all manipulating the same world, but you all have your own objectives and you are destroying that world as well at the same time by making the panda eat the bamboo which someone else has grown. And I think that's a part of the concept of the game which people don't get straight away. They feel that they are the panda, or they are the farmer, or they are the bamboo, and I am the walrus. But ukukichu. But no, it's not that game at all. You have objectives. You're all working together, doing the irrigation, trying to get the tiles in the right formation. It's nice when someone does it for you, and then you just go, "Oh, you've done that for me, thank you." Or, you know, someone's made your bamboo grow the right height so you can claim the points. Because that's what it is. It's a game of you have objectives. And then you only have 2 actions on your turn. But there are 5 different actions to choose. You can move the farmer, which will make a certain color of bamboo grow when he stops in that space. And you can move the panda, which will eat 1 bamboo from one of those towers of bamboo. Or you can do this, no, not do the same action twice. You can take an irrigation channel and add it to the board, or you can take a tile and add it to the board, or you can get some more objectives, which really helps. Because there are 3 different types of objectives, and they will kind of like make you go down certain roads, so to speak, when you're playing. And that was kind of like the bit of the problem that I found with the game. For a child, I remember when I played with my daughter a long time ago, I didn't like it, and there's a review that probably talks a bit more about it. I didn't like it because she just picked the panda objectives and just moved the panda around from turn to turn, and eating the bamboo, and she managed to win easily, even though other players were just doing like a kind of like mean overall kind of, you know, bit this, bit that, bit the other, and it kind of felt broken. But you know, I've gone past that stage now where it's like, this game is not that great. No. But it's more the stage of, this game is fun. This is enjoyable. It's a pleasure to play. It's relaxing. It's not too stressful. You'll get to a point where you roll the dice. It changes the weather, and you don't have to think much about it. Again, it's very powerful. The sun effect, or the question mark effect, which means that you can choose the weather you want. So you make the sun. Sun gives you 3 actions. That's really kind of powerful and can push you, if you have that many times in a row, can push you to a very early winning of the game as you complete X amount of objectives. But I enjoy the game still. It's still fun. It's different every time because you're like, okay, is this player going to do this? Is this player going to do that? Are they going to help me? I mean, in the last game, nobody helped anyone. Well, no, because normally when you do the land tiles, someone always puts a land tile in a certain place, and you go, yep, thank you, that's done. Or someone makes the bamboo grow. There was that actually. I lie. Yes, because I needed 5 sticks of about 2 high of yellow or something like that. But yeah, yeah, it's a fun game. It's light, colourful, definitely a familiar game. Definitely one for young kids as well as parents. Adult game, it depends on your preferences, I think. US Telegraph, which again I've done a review of, and played this with the wife and the son, taught him for the first time. He picked up the mechanics, but not the strategy. His plan was to just build everything, which kind of went against him. And in the game, let's talk briefly about the game. You're just basically either drawing randomly from some piles of tiles that you have to see what buildings you have, and you can draw X amount, or you are building tiles which you've already laid out on your board in front of you onto a main board in between the players, where you're trying to make a snake from one town to another, and there'll be X amount of towns depending on the players. In our case, 3 towns because there's 3 players. And there are benefits to certain buildings that you can build, because if it's the same sequential number, so if you've got 60 on the board and you've got 61, you can build it freely. Whereas if you're building 60 from the beginning, you have to pay the resources. There are some resources on the map which you can benefit from, and there's some resource cards that you can draw from for every action that you do not do. So if you decide to draw tiles, you can draw 3, but you might decide to just draw 1 and then draw 2 resource cards and then save them for later, for like later on building. This game is a great idea. The problem is the art falls apart in this game. This is again the Telegraph idea. It works thematically, but the art, you just get lost. That's the only drawback about the game. I won basically because my wife couldn't see my route. The colours are not prominent enough. They're all kind of wishy-washy browns. I should show you a picture like now. So your player board looks like that, where you're drawing the tiles and then adding those buildings into spaces so you can see what buildings you can build. Then there's your main player board in the middle. Well, not your player board, but the board in the middle of the table between the players. And as you can see, they're browns as well. And sadly, as it builds up, you just can't see anything. There's nothing clear. There's nothing which stands out. It's a wish-wash of colours, which is a shame. It's a nice idea. And I know that it's a re-implementation of Attica, but it could have been something else. There you go. You can't even see the table from the board from the playing pieces. But apart from that, the game is good. My wife likes this game. She actually requested that we play it due to the fact that it's a game that she knows the rules, and she enjoys just simple mechanical games like this, which don't take up too much brain power, but she feels that she can win at quite easily, and she didn't. So there you go. There's a brief kind of review, thoughts and ideas of games that I've played many times, not enough times, for the first time, and just my thoughts and feelings about them. As I said, there's some other videos that I've done on some of these games, which I'll link down below, that if you want to dive into depth with. And as I said, you can go and check out my blog on Board Game Geek, the board games everybody should blog, or the blog, yes. If you want to read about it instead of listen to my voice and watch me screw up my words, because not enough coffee and too much French. Ooh la la. So as I said, just take my words as advice. Go and check out some other reviewers if there's a game that you listen to me waffle on about interests you, before you make this final deciding moment of forking out the money to to pay for it, because yes, this is a wonderful hobby, but it can be a little bit expensive, especially Zombicide, Batman. Uh, whereas other games like Quick Cups, Darwin's not too bad, Takenoko is a good price, Tower Up is definitely a good price, value for money. Those kind of games, you know, your 40, 50 pound, euro, dollar, whatever, they are good games to go and invest your money in. So I'd like to just say quickly, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you know someone that might appreciate this video, share it with them. And for everything else, just remember to play nicely with each other, because it is only a cup of tea. It is only a cup of tea. It is only a game.
Just sitting at the table next to Felicia would be quite nice. Wouldn't it be good? I got some board games.